The huge meeting hall floated in space near a quiet star called Caliph 9. Its walls were made of clear crystal that let everyone see the stars outside. Inside, thousands of seats rose in circles around the center. 87 different alien species sat there. They had come from every corner of this part of the galaxy. This was the Grand Conclave, the place where the big civilizations made rules for everyone. At the very bottom, in the smallest section, sat the human delegation. Only 3 chairs. Only one person used them today. Her name was Elena Voss. She wore a simple gray uniform with no decorations. Her dark hair was tied back tightly. She looked small compared to the tall, shining beings around her. For more than 300 years, humans had been allowed to watch these meetings. They were called observers. They could listen. They could take notes. But they could not vote. They could not speak unless someone asked them a question. Most aliens thought this was fair. Humans were new. They had only reached the stars a short time ago. Their ships were strange mixtures of old and new parts. Their people lived short lives. They argued a lot. They spread fast. Many older species felt uneasy around them. Today the topic was simple. A tall crystal creature from the Zarathi people stood in the center. Its body looked like frozen water, with light moving inside. It spoke in a calm, musical voice that came from every direction at once. "The motion is clear," it said. "We vote to remove observer status from the Terran species. Reasons are listed. 1. They enter protected buffer zones without asking. 2. They refuse to limit how many children they have. 3. They put weapons on their trading ships. 4. They will not follow the pirate hunting rules we all agreed on." Pictures appeared in the air above the center. They showed human colony ships landing on small moons. They showed human freighters with extra gun turrets. They showed population charts that kept going up and up. One by one, the species voted. Most said yes. Some said nothing. A few said no, but very quietly. Elena Voss sat still. She did not move. She did not look angry. She just listened. At last, the Zarathi spoke again. "The count is complete. 84 yes. 2 no vote. 2 choose not to vote. 1 votes against. The motion passes. Observer status for humanity ends today. You have 7 standard days to leave all shared stations. Recall your ships from joint missions. Vacate the diplomatic habitats. No more access to council data streams." Silence filled the hall. Everyone looked at the small human woman. Elena stood up slowly. Her chair made almost no sound. She was not tall. She was not loud. But every eye followed her. She looked around the huge room once. Then she spoke. Her voice was clear and steady. No microphone. No anger. "Thank you for the clarity." That was all. She turned. She walked toward the big round door at the far side. Her boots made soft clicks on the smooth floor. The sound seemed louder than it should. No one spoke. No one moved to stop her. The door opened with a quiet hiss. Blue light from the corridor outside spilled in. Elena stepped through. The door closed behind her. It sealed with a final soft sound. Inside the hall, the silence lasted a long time. A squid-like being from the Vren turned to its neighbor. "That was easy," it whispered. The neighbor, a tall insect with gold wings, clicked its mouthparts. "Too easy." A furry creature with 6 eyes leaned forward. She did not argue. She did not threaten. She just left. The Zarathi speaker floated back to its place. It tried to continue. Next topic, trade taxes on the Outer Rim. But many delegates were not listening anymore. They stared at the closed door. They remembered how Elena had walked. Not fast, not slow, just steady, like someone who had already decided something long ago. Outside, in the wide corridor, Elena kept walking. Lights followed her steps. She passed empty meeting rooms. She passed service robots that bowed politely. She did not look back. A small drone floated up beside her. It belonged to voice. The shuttle is ready at Dock 7. All personal items are loaded. The other 2 delegates already left yesterday as you ordered. Good, Elena said. Any messages from Earth? Only one priority packet, from the assembly. It says, proceed as planned. Elena gave the smallest smile. Then we proceed. She reached the lift, the doors opened, she stepped inside. The drone followed. As the lift dropped toward the docking ring, Elena looked at the stars through the window wall. They looked the same as always, cold, far apart, endless. But something had changed today. Not in the stars, in her. She had spent 32 years at this table. 32 years of listening to reasons why humans were too young, too wild, too dangerous, too many. 32 years of polite smiles while others decided her people's future. Now the pretending was over. The lift stopped. The doors opened to the human shuttle bay. Only one ship waited there. It was small, plain, no flags, no bright paint. Just a gray oval with the name Dawn Runner written in small white letters. Elena walked up the ramp. The drone followed. The ramp closed behind them. Inside, the pilot, a young man with short hair, stood and saluted. Ready when you are, ma'am. Take us home, Lieutenant, she said. The long way. He raised one brow. The long way, ma'am? Yes, through the Veil Nebula route. The one we cleared last month. The pilot smiled. Understood. The shuttle lifted silently. It slipped out of the giant station. No one hailed them. No one wished them safe travels. The council simply watched them go. As the station grew smaller behind them, Elena sat in the front seat. She looked at the star map on the screen. A thin green line showed their path. It cut straight through the dangerous Veil Nebula, a place no one else dared cross. She touched the screen. The line glowed brighter. Message to Fleet Command, she said quietly. Phase 1 complete. The door is shut. The pilot typed quickly. The message flashed away into the dark. Elena leaned back. She closed her eyes for a moment. 300 years of waiting. 300 years of watching. Now it was time to move. And the Galaxies had no idea what was coming next. The news traveled faster than light itself. Within minutes, every relay station in the arm picked up the same simple message. The human ambassador walked out. No argument, no protest. She just said thank you and left. On thousands of worlds, screens lit up with the same short clip. It showed Elena Voss standing up from her small table. Her face calm, her steps even, the huge crystal doors opening for her alone, then closing behind her like a full stop at the end of a very long sentence. Alien commentators spoke over the footage in dozens of languages. Most sounded amused. The upstarts finally learned their place, said a smooth-voiced Clore analyst on the military channel. They know better than to challenge the old powers. A trader from the Akanti Guild laughed on a business feed. Their mining claims will be ours by next quarter, free for the taking. Even on the quiet academic networks, professors nodded wisely. Humanity lacks patience. It's not about strength. It's about persistence, and that's why we're still watching. They always rush. This retreat was predictable. Memes spread like fire through dry grass. One popular image showed a cartoon human with a tiny backpack, walking away from a giant table, while tall aliens pointed and laughed. Another showed the empty human chair, with the words, "Reserved for children," crossed out. No one noticed at first that the jokes felt a little forced. Back on the Grand Conclave Station, the delegates moved to other topics. Trade taxes, border disputes, the usual business. But the mood had changed. People kept glancing at the small empty crescent where the human table used to be. It looked strange now. Too small, too quiet. A young Vren aide swam closer to its superior. "Sir, should we send a formal notice, confirm the withdrawal deadline?" The superior waved a tentacle. "No need, they will obey." Humans always obey when cornered. But the aide kept looking at the empty space. Something about it bothered him. Meanwhile, far away in human space, things began to move. On the crowded shipyards, hidden in the cold clouds around Sol, massive construction arms stopped in mid-motion. Welding torches went dark. Robot loaders set down their cargo and powered down. Entire assembly lines fell silent at the same second. On colony worlds along the Orion Spur, bright beacon towers that had flashed Terran claim active for decades blinked once, then turned off. No explosion, no battle, just darkness. Survey ships that had been mapping new systems pulled back their sensor arrays, turned, and jumped toward home. Freighters unloaded their last cargo at neutral ports, then vanished into jumps without taking new contracts. Joint stations shared with other species saw human crews pack up quietly. They left notes saying, "Thank you for the cooperation." They even left small gifts, coffee beans from Earth, music files, children's drawings of stars. Then they were gone. The alien crews watched in confusion. One human engineer patted a Clore technician on the shoulder before leaving. "Don't worry," he said. "We'll be fine." The Clore stared after him. "But where will you go?" The human smiled. "Home." By the end of the first day, every council monitoring station reported the same thing. Human activity dropping. Not crashing, not panicking, dropping, like someone slowly turning down a dial. A few sharp minds started asking questions. On the bridge of the Zarathi flagship, Clarity's Edge, the tactical officer pulled up long-range scans. "Speaker," he said, "human traffic in the buffer zones has stopped completely. No new colony ships, no scout probes, nothing." Light danced inside its body. "They are obeying the order. Good. But sir, their core systems are going dark too. Shipyard emissions down 80%. The speaker stayed silent for a long moment. "Send a probe," it finally said, discreetly. The probe jumped away. On a trade hub orbiting a gas giant, a Yakanti merchant captain reviewed his new charts. The human mining asteroids he had planned to claim were marked in red. Still claimed, but no activity. No lights, no movement. He laughed nervously. They ran away so fast they forgot to sell. His first mate, a quiet four-armed being, did not laugh, or they took everything valuable with them. The captain stopped smiling. In the deep archives of the ancient Libris Concord, an old data keeper pulled up every record of human behavior since first contact. Then, it sent a private message to 3 trusted colleagues. "Watch the quiet ones," the message said. "History shows they prepare in silence." The recipients read it and felt cold. On Earth itself, in a plain underground room under a mountain, a group of people sat around a large table. No fancy lights, no big screens, just maps, numbers, and coffee cups. A woman with gray hair spoke first. Phase 1 finished. All civilian assets recalled or powered down. Military assets holding position. A man nodded. Jump lanes cleared. False signals planted in 6 sectors to confuse trackers. Another voice, younger. "The children are asking why school moved to the ships early." The gray-haired woman smiled softly. "Tell them we're going on the longest field trip ever." They did not cheer. They did not look worried. They looked focused. Outside the mountain, the sky was clear. Somewhere among them, a single small shuttle carried one woman away from the greatest meeting hall ever built. Elena Voss sat in the passenger seat. She watched the stars slide past. The pilot flew in silence for a long time. Finally he spoke. "Ma'am, do you think they'll follow us?" Elena looked at him. "They will look. That's enough for now." She turned back to the window. The Galaxies thought humanity had retreated. They thought wrong. The silence was not defeat. It was countdown, and the clock had just started. 72 hours passed since Elena Voss walked out of the Grand Conclave. The Galaxies kept turning. Ships jumped between stars. Markets opened and closed. Life went on. Then, without warning, every communication channel the Council used lit up at once. A single low-power signal broke through. No encryption, no hidden codes, just a clean, polite message in Standard Galactic that every species could read. Coordinates appeared first, deep inside the Veil Nebula, a place everyone avoided. Thick clouds of dust and gas, wild gravity waves that tore ships apart, tachyon storms that scrambled sensors. For thousands of years, no one had crossed it, not safely. Next came a short line of text. Come see why we never begged for your seat. Attached was a data packet. Small, simple. It showed a perfect straight path through the nebula. A corridor 20 kilometers wide. Smooth, stable, no turbulence, no hazards. The path had not existed a week ago. The signal ended. Silence returned. Panic moved fast through the Council networks. Emergency session called. Delegates rushed back to their stations. Arguments exploded in private channels. Trap, said the Clore War Chief. They want us to follow so they can destroy our ships. Bluff, said a Yakanti trader. They cleared a path to look strong, nothing more. Curiosity, said the Zarathi speaker. Light swirled slowly inside its crystal body. We must know. In the end, Curiosity won. 30 capital ships gathered, the biggest and newest from 12 different species. They carried the best sensors, the strongest shields, the sharpest weapons. Just in case. They jumped together. Space folded, stars stretched, then snapped back. They arrived at the given coordinates, and stopped dead. The nebula clouds parted like curtains. No storm, no gravity shear. Just open black space, stretching far ahead. At the center floated something impossible. A sphere. 2 light minutes across, bigger than most moons. Not built from metal plates or solar panels like a normal Dyson sphere. This one looked alive. Millions of ships, human designs everyone recognized, had been woven together. Hulls joined side by side, nose to tail, wing to wing, like coral growing over centuries. Thin blue lines of energy pulsed between them. Soft light moved under the surface, like blood in veins. At the very center burned a contained black hole. Not wild, not dangerous, controlled, perfect. It fed power to the whole structure, endless, clean. No weapons pointed outward, no missile bays open, no fighter swarms waiting. Just the sphere, quiet, huge, waiting. Every bridge went silent. A Zarathi captain whispered, "Scan depth." "Working," the sensor officer answered. "Hull material. Unknown alloy mixed with organic tissue. Self-repairing. Population estimate, billions. Agricultural zones, factories, living areas, schools, parks. It is not a war station. It is a world." A Vren admiral floated closer to its viewport. Tentacles curled tight. "They built a city in 3 days?" "No," a Liberus data keeper said slowly. "Not in 3 days. They built it over decades, in secret, while we watched their small ships and laughed." Before anyone could answer, a soft voice came over every speaker. It was Elena Voss. No anger, no triumph, just calm. "Welcome," she said. "We never needed your table. We were building our own." The voice paused. "You are seeing home now. Our first true city ship. It carries every human who wants to leave your rules behind. It will never stop moving. It will never ask permission to exist." On the bridges, crews stared at each other. Some looked angry. Most looked stunned. Elena continued. "For 300 years we sat at the edge of your meetings. We listened to every reason why we were too young, too loud, too many, too dangerous. We smiled, we waited, we learned. You measured power in big guns and old treaties. We measured it in time, in children born, in hands that build, in minds that dream bigger every generation. This sphere is what happens when a species refuses to stay small. The voice softened even more. We are not here to fight you. We are here to leave you. But hear this clearly. The next time anyone tries to erase our right to breathe among the stars, we will not walk away quietly. We will take the whole room with us. The channel closed. No final dramatic music. No flash of light. Just silence again. The 30 ships hung there. Engines idling. Weapons cold. No one moved to attack. No one dared. A young human voice, maybe a child, broke the quiet on an open subchannel. It sounded curious, not scared. Are those the aliens who didn't want us to play? A grown-up answered gently. Yes, but it's okay. We have our own playground now. The channel cut. On the bridge of the Xerathi flagship, the speaker stared at the giant living sphere. Light inside its body moved faster than usual, almost nervous. Record everything, it ordered. Every detail. Send it home, unedited. The sensor officer nodded, already transmitting. One by one, the capital ships turned. Engines flared softly. They jumped back toward Council space. Behind them, the sphere stayed exactly where it was. Not chasing, not threatening, just existing, growing, waiting. The Galaxies had come to see a defeated species. Instead, they saw something new. Something that did not need their approval. Something that had outgrown their fear. And for the first time in memory, the old powers felt very small. The 30 observation ships returned to Council space in complete silence. No victory cheers, no battle reports. Just quiet jumps back to their home stations. Every captain sent the same raw footage forward, without any comments. The images spoke for themselves. Inside the Grand Conclave Hall, an emergency viewing session started right away. The crystal walls darkened. A giant hologram filled the center space. It showed the massive living sphere again, the woven ships, the soft blue pulses, the controlled black hole at the heart. Billions of humans living inside something that looked like a breathing world. Delegates sat frozen in their seats. Some leaned forward, some pulled back. A few covered their eyes for a second, then looked again. The Xerathi speaker floated higher than usual. Its light moved in slow, uneven patterns. "Play the message again," it said. Elena Voss appeared in the hologram. This time, the view zoomed in closer. She stood on what looked like a wide balcony inside the sphere. Behind her, people walked past, families, workers, children running with toys. Normal life. Not soldiers, not machines, just people. She wore the same plain gray uniform. No crown, no armor. Her hands rested calmly at her sides. "For 300 years, she began again, we asked to join as equals. You gave us observer seats, limited access, restricted lanes. You told us to wait our turn. We waited. We used the time well. We watched how you built your empires. We studied your engines, your shields, your laws. We copied what worked. We improved what didn't. And while you argued about who deserved what, we did something different. We bred. We built. We dreamed bigger every year. Our population grew. Our children learned faster. Our engineers worked in secret shipyards, hidden in dark clouds and dead systems. No one noticed, because you were busy watching our small trading ships and laughing at our patchwork technology. You thought we were catching up. We were not catching up. We were passing you." She stepped to the side. The camera followed. Behind her stretched a long green band. Fields of wheat and rice growing under artificial suns. Children picked fruit from trees. Old people sat on benches telling stories. "This is home now," Elena said. "Our first city that moves. It has room for 10 billion souls today. It will grow to hold 50 billion tomorrow. maybe more. It farms its own food. It recycles every drop of water. It makes its own air. It prints new ships from its own factories when needed. It runs on a singularity we tamed ourselves. No stolen tech, no council patents, just human math and human stubbornness. A murmur ran through the delegates. The word singularity made many flinch. Most species banned uncontrolled black holes near populated zones. Humans had put one in the center of their home and called it normal. Elena looked straight into the camera, straight at every watcher. We are leaving your borders, not because we hate you, not because we fear you, because we no longer fit inside your rules. Some humans will stay in your space. They like your ways. They can keep their homes. We will not force anyone. But for those who want more, who want room to grow without asking permission, this sphere is their new beginning. It will drift toward the galactic rim. It will find empty arms of stars. It will plant new worlds, always moving. We do not declare war today. We declare independence. But remember one thing. The next time a vote comes to erase us, to limit us, to tell us we are too many or too loud or too fast, we will not stand at your small table and beg. We will not argue. We will not threaten. We will simply leave. And we will take every human who wants to come. And if you try to stop us, we have spent 3 centuries learning how not to lose. The hologram faded. Aleda's face stayed in the air a moment longer, calm, unafraid. Then it vanished. The hall stayed quiet for a very long time. A Clore general broke the silence first. His voice sounded rough. She spoke like someone who already won. A Vren diplomat twisted its tentacles. They built that thing in secret, right under our sensors. How? A Libris keeper answered softly. We saw their merchant ships, their colony probes, their loud arguments in meetings. We never looked at the quiet places, the empty sectors, the places they said were unimportant. The Yikanti trader next to him laughed once, short and bitter. We thought we were dividing their scraps. Instead, they took the whole table and left us the crumbs. The Zirathi speaker turned slowly. Light inside it moved steadier now, almost thoughtful. Send no ships after them, it said. No warnings, no demands. Let them go. A few voices protested, but the mining claims, the buffer zones, the speaker raised one crystalline limb. Everyone stopped. They are already gone, it said. Chasing them now would cost more than we can afford. And we do not know what else they built while we watched their empty chairs. More silence. Then one by one, delegates stood and left the hall. Just quiet steps toward their own ships. Outside, the stars looked the same, but they felt different. On home now, Elena Voss walked along a wide corridor. Windows showed the nebula clouds drifting past slowly. Families nodded to her as she passed. Children waved. She stopped at a small observation deck. A young engineer waited there. Message sent? She asked. Yes, ma'am. Full broadcast. They heard every word. Elena nodded. Good. Now we wait. The engineer smiled. For what? For them to understand something new. She looked out at the stars. They thought we needed their permission to exist. Now they know we never did. Far behind them, the old galaxy kept turning. But a new path had opened. A path no one else could follow. The footage from the observation fleet spread like light through empty space. Every relay picked it up. Every newsfeed replayed it. Every home screen showed the same thing. A giant living sphere made of millions of human ships, floating calm and huge in the nebula. Then Elena Voss, speaking plainly. No shouting, no weapons, just words that landed heavier than any threat ever could. On 1,000 different worlds, people stopped what they were doing to watch. In crowded market squares on Ikanti trade hubs, giant screens showed the sphere. Traders forgot their deals. Buyers stood still with bags in their hands. A small child pointed and asked, "Is that a planet?" The father answered slowly, "No, it's bigger than a planet. It's theirs." On Clore military bases, soldiers gathered around hollow tables. The officers who usually barked orders stayed quiet. One veteran rubbed his armored chin. They built that in secret. They trained to leave us behind. In quiet Libris libraries, old scholars scrolled through the images again and again. One turned to another and said, "We cataloged every species. We measured their fleets. We never measured their patience." Even on the most distant outposts, lone watchers sat in small domes and stared at the feed. A miner on a cold rock world whispered to himself, "They didn't fight. They just grew." Children everywhere asked the same question in their own languages. Why did the human leave? Parents tried to answer. Some said, because they were angry. Some said because they were scared. But most just looked at their children and said nothing, because the real answer felt too big. They had not seen anger in Elena's face. They had not seen fear. They had seen someone who no longer cared what the old powers thought. Days passed. The sphere kept moving, slow, steady, toward the outer rim where stars spread thin, and empty space waited. Probes sent by curious species followed at a safe distance. None dared get close. The sphere did not react. It did not speed up. It did not turn. It simply drifted, like it had all the time in the universe. Inside the grand conclave hall, the crystal speaker called one last quiet session. No big vote, no new laws, just a short message prepared for broadcast. The speaker's light moved slow and even. "We have seen what humanity built," it said. "We offered them a small place. They made their own place, larger, stronger, free. We will not chase them. We will not block them. We will let them go. Let this be recorded. The Terran species is no longer bound by our rules. Their path is their own." The message ended. No cheers, no protests. Just a soft close of the channel. Across the galaxies, that silence said more than any speech. On a small moon orbiting a red dwarf, a human family watched the broadcast from their new home dome. The parents had left Earth years ago. They had never liked the Council rules. Now they saw Home Now on their screen. Tears came to the mother's eyes. "They did it," she said. "They really did it." Her son, only 8, looked up. "Can we go there someday?" She smiled. "Maybe, if you want to." Back in the old meeting hall, the small human table still stood empty. No one had removed it yet. No one wanted to touch it. It looked like a reminder now, not of defeat, of something else. A young Vren aide swam past it one day. It stopped and stared at the 3 empty chairs. "Why did they leave so quietly?" it asked an older delegate nearby. The old delegate clicked its beak softly. "Because they were never really here for us." The aide thought about that for a long time. On Home Now, life went on as if nothing special had happened. People worked in gardens. Children played in wide green parks under fake blue skies. Engineers checked the Singularity Drive. Teachers told stories about old Earth. Old people sat and remembered the days when humans had to ask permission to breathe among the stars. Elena Voss walked through one of the main corridors. She carried no title now, no ambassador pin, just a plain jacket and comfortable shoes. People nodded to her. Some smiled. Some said thank you. She nodded back. She stopped at a big window that looked out toward the slowly moving nebula clouds. A teenage girl stood there, all ready, staring at the stars. "Pretty, isn't it?" Elena asked. The girl turned. "It's huge, and we made it." "We did." The girl looked back outside. "Do you think they'll ever understand?" Elena thought for a moment. "Some will. Some won't. That's okay. We didn't build this for them to understand. We built it so we could stop explaining ourselves. The girls smiled. I like that. They stood together in silence. The sphere kept moving. Stars slid past, slow and steady. Far behind, the old galaxy turned on without them. Council meetings continued. Trade deals happened. Wars started and ended in small corners. Life went on. But something had changed forever. When people told stories now, they told different ones. They told about the day a small species walked out of the biggest room in the galaxy. They told about the woman who said thank you and left. They told about the sphere that appeared out of nowhere and carried billions away. And in every telling, the ending stayed the same. Humanity had not stormed out in anger. Humanity had not begged to stay. Humanity had simply outgrown the room. And the galaxies, watching that quiet living city drift toward new stars, felt something they had not felt in a very long time. Awe. Pure, simple awe. Because for the first time, the old powers realized something important. The future did not belong to the biggest fleets, or the oldest laws, or the strongest weapons. It belonged to the ones who dared to leave the table and keep walking.